Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to D Smith Discuss. Welcome to today's session. Man, I have another video for you guys, and this is from Jeremy Heck. He goes into deep detail about the J. Cole, Kendrick, and old boy beef. I believe Drake does not write any of his raps or his lyrics. It's all make believe. It's all CB4. It's all B-Rad. That's what I believe. It started from day one. A lot of individuals is not going to believe that, but Drake is nowhere near in the top 20 of hip-hop artists. He's not even in the top 30, 50, because he is just a fake, made-up individual. So let's watch this video from Jeremy Heck, and whatever he comes up with, I do not believe it. Oh boy, is fake ass. You know what? Like, comment, subscribe. Welcome to the session. But let's watch it, man.
Stop. If I don't say stop, it'll never stop. I think this is really just the start.
I mean, right now I'm just thinking straight to the core and trying to make the best hip hop album I can make. I don't know where I'm gonna be 5 years from now. You know, people switch up sometimes. I don't see it coming. I don't foresee it. But I mean, anything's possible. I really like how Jay did his career. He made consistent hip hop albums, and now it would stay pretty much hip hop. I think Kanye kind of went on. He's the one that kind of dabbled in pop and experiment, which was ill. It was dope that he could even try that, because that opens the door for other artists to do the same thing. But I don't know how I foresee mine going yet. But right now, it's just strictly hip hop.
First question: Who is K-Dot?
K-Dot,
K-Dot
was just a rapper trying to find his niche, studying all the greats, and take a piece from each individual style and rap. That's K-Dot. Kendrick Lamar, the person, as a whole. That's me. My whole life.
I'm Andre Graham, and I make a living off truly being myself. That's it.
2009 original Nas. We can see all of the parallel universe, like the Green Goblin and Spider-Man, that music.
Yeah.
How do you feel about comparisons like that?
It's natural to make comparisons, but it's too early to say anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my goals is the top. Like all those guys, the Jays and the Nas and the Pacs. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm shooting for. So anytime anybody compares me to one of them, it's an honor, it's a privilege, but you gotta earn that stuff. Like, you gotta be around for years before you can, hold up to those.
That motherfucker. The industry is so now everybody think everything is a diss. When I say swallow the Wayne, swallow the pride, I'm coming out the J, coming out the Nas, it's about me being competitive in this motherfucker. I felt like on the day when I stepped in this motherfucker rap game, I want to be the best. You know what I'm saying? And why not do something that you love to do and not try to be the best at it? My mom's always taught me that way.
There'll be a day when I fall. There'll be a day when Drake is no longer interesting. Maybe the stage I'm at in my life, nobody can relate to. Maybe, the sound.
Right now, can't nobody even relate to your bitch ass, man.
The music changes, and I'm irrelevant. Because rap is just a cycle.
So, Drake is going to go country. Drake is going to go country, or a younger artist. He's 38. He's going to collab with NBA Youngboy, so he can stay relevant in the algorithms. It is what it is.
The kid that comes along that does it better than me and looks better than me and sings and raps better than me, and yeah, it took over.
Those friends when you find me, and all my niggas is grimy, but I remain the good kid trying to make a difference where I'm from, where you live.
I don't think they really understand the story all the way. How more in depth the story really is of my life of growing up in the city. You know what I mean? As far as they know, as far as I put out there, I'm just the good kid in the mad city. I put out the positive out there, but they don't know the negatives I had to go through yet.
I don't know what that guy's at.
It's 2010. Drake is reaching the actual success that he had hoped to get while rapping on the song from So Far Gone.
I just wanna be successful.
Which he didn't write.
and is dealing with the pressures of being labeled the next up for his generation. Double XL had called So Far Gone hip-hop's first instant classic tape from a virtually unknown artist since Young Jeezy's Trap or Die.
Which
since
he did
then,
right.
He's been working on his debut album, Thank Me Later, and has been in the studio with some of the biggest names in music. Drake's buzz was beyond real, and because of his hit-making ability, he was even a well-known name in the mainstream. I mean, he even secured deals with AT&T and, of course, the infamous Sprite commercial.
Yo, what's up?
I'm just not feeling it.
He did not write this.
J. Cole has been feeling a change in perception after dropping a classic mixtape with the warm-up, with people seeing his vision and becoming hardcore fans. But he's still battling with the label for a release date. His next mission from Jay-Z was to make a hit song so he could put out his debut album. And Kendrick, fresh off the release of his first self-titled EP, is crafting his next couple of projects and hoping to really make a name for himself this year as the next up. I'm Jeremy Hecht. Welcome to Passing of the Crown. This is episode 2, 2010. If you missed the 2009 episode, you can watch it right here and then come back to this video. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with somebody who you think might like it if you support what I'm doing here. But besides that, let's get back to the story. J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar first met at an album release party for a group named U&I in LA. To think that two future GOATs were at the same event and most likely no one around them even noticed is absolutely wild. Kendrick actually rapped at that event, and as soon as Cole heard him spit, he was impressed. Cole said, "I'm looking at this short, dark-skinned kid like, yo, who is this kid?" And then he gets on the mic and murders. "I'm a rapper's rapper and I'm not easily impressed." And when I heard him, I was instantly impressed. Funny enough, Kendrick and Cole actually had met earlier at the Double XL freshman shoot where J. Cole and J-Rock were on the cover. Kendrick was not. At this point, Drake was too big for that cover and likely turned it down, and Kendrick was still building his buzz with TDE while J-Rock took priority at the label. The cover included Big Sean, Nipsey Hussle, Wiz Khalifa, Freddie Gibbs, and more. But according to Big Sean's Freshman 10 freestyle, Cole showed up so late that they had to f*** to J. Cole that if he didn't end up showing up, he was gonna end up taking his spot on the cover. He even references this incident on The Heart Part 1.
I was at the Double XL, trying to excel, networking. Meanwhile, my stomach turning. Wanted to be a part of it, came back to my audience. J. Cole running late, if he don't show up, think I can take his place? Then he start laughing. No pun intended, I ain't being sarcastic. Homie popped up with about 20 bags in. Fresh off the plane, I couldn't even complain. My nigga was on his hustle, I introduced him my name. Said I see him on the bump with the future. My dude, I salute you. Contributing the real shit. Talk about it, make the people talk about it.
So the same way that Cole was looking at Drake, Kendrick was looking at Cole. I mean, Cole was the one who had a standout verse on Jay-Z's album. Here's a video of Kendrick supporting J. Cole and even rapping along to every word of that verse on the Blueprint 3. J. Cole and Kendrick linked up, and Cole played Kendrick a bunch of his unreleased beats and ideas, including what would become High Power off of Section 80, which was produced by J. Cole. Kendrick even asked Cole, "Are you sure about giving me all these beats?" And Cole apparently replied with, "Yeah, of course, you got them." And at that moment, Kendrick told Cole that he was sleeping on himself. At this time, J. Cole was working on his debut album, but he needed a hit song in order to actually put it out. In January of 2010, he did sessions with Pharrell and attempted to create a hit song, but it didn't happen.
Working with Pharrell, that was one of those surreal moments too. That was like, I just had to basically sit back and ask myself, like, yo, I'm just, I'm in the studio with Pharrell, and he actually like taking time out of his, he told me, he was like, yeah, I just came from the studio with Gloria Estefan or something. I'm like, oh, that's what's up. So you go from Gloria to J. Cole.
Cole did have songs like Lights Please and Lost Ones, but he was saving those for his debut album, and those weren't necessarily hits as much as they were album cuts. His first real attempt that he put out at a hit was Who Dat, which Jay-Z said wasn't the one.
Live life might as well, only way to learn is try and fail clients that are only way to earn.
And even though he was right, it wasn't. It did help Cole gain some more buzz, and it sent him out on the road for radio promo. Cole's first sold-out show at SOB's was a big moment for him in New York, and around that same time, he premiered the song. But when Kendrick and Cole finally did meet up in the studio for real and began working on music together, they built an organic friendship and collaborative relationship. Kendrick emailed Cole 2 songs the same night they met after that release party. They were Cut You Off and Pussy and Patron, which is one of my favorite early Kendrick songs. Let me know what your favorite songs from Kendrick were at that point. Cole believed in Kendrick's talent so much that he actually wanted to sign him.
Did you want to sign Kendrick?
100%.
Until he realized he maybe wasn't the perfect person to do that. But he did even put in a good word to Dr. Dre. He was working on Detox, the album that we'll probably never receive.
Did you tell Dr. Dre about Kendrick?
Cap.
Who told you that?
Cap.
Yes, the answer is yes, I did. I'm not gonna say I was the first to tell him. When I brought him up to Dre, I went in there to like work on Detox or whatever. You know, how Dre do is like if you're a young rapper and he rock with you, he want to bring you through and like have you test the water. So yeah, I was like, yo, you gotta sign this kid from Compton, boom boom, Kendrick, boom boom. And then Manny was like, oh yeah, that's the kid I was telling you about, boom boom. So I have no clue, you know what I mean? Shout out to Dr. Dre. He made the right decision.
So whether or not that made an impact on Dre's decision to eventually sign, I guess we'll never know. But it does show J. Cole's true belief in Kendrick as an artist. But we'll get to Dre a little further in the story. Before Drake and Cole even met, Cole was looking at Drake's hit-making ability as a real superpower, especially as he struggled to make a hit that the label accepted for his debut album. And even Kendrick went through the same process later that year.
Because if you think too much on that end of the business, you're gonna fuck your whole creative process up. I was at one point where I was just searching for a motherfucking single because that's what the industry confines you to. When you're hearing these songs on the radio, you figure like shit, you can't drop an album without it. But once you get trapped in that world, it'll fuck your whole mental up on recording, you know what I mean? Because you're searching, steady searching. And when you're searching, you're basically patterning yourself after what's ever on the radio. So it's not your unique sound, you just going for somebody else's shit, and if it don't work at the end of the day, you fuck twice because you're doing something that won't truly use.
While Cole was going on radio runs, a lot of the program directors would reference that Who Dat didn't have the melodic touch that some of the big poppier hip-hop songs had at the time, and they would reference Young Money, Bedrock, and some of Drake's songs as examples of what was living well on the radio at the time. Cole and Drake first met around that time, and you can tell from this interview that Cole had an extremely competitive spirit. This is what he said. Right now it's a mutual respect. Like, I see what you're doing, you're killing the game, I'm a fan or whatever the case is. We're both young, and even though he's more established and has hits, he still doesn't have an album out. He still has to prep for that, so we're not in the position to be best friends. We can save that for when we're both laid up and chilling, but right now we both have work to do. It's clear how hungry Cole was for the top spot, and at that point, Drake had it for their generation. Even Drake had a similar sentiment in an interview with Complex later that year, saying, when you're coming up and you're in competition with somebody, it's always hard to have a friendship. I think Kanye and I are realizing that we don't threaten each other. It's ended up being one of the greatest industry friendships I have.
I don't believe whatever Drake said. I do not believe him.
But these were the comments that he made about whether or not his relationship with Kanye would get in the middle of his relationship with Cudi, or whether or not it did. I wasn't aware of that. Even so, I could understand. If Wayne were to be enamored of another young artist, I would be like, damn, I'm here too. But at the same time, it happens in more than one situation. It happens with Ye, and I have a great relationship with Jay, and Jay's got Wale and J. Cole, who's one of my favorite dudes rapping right now. I've happened to have had more success. I made the most money. I have #1 records. Those guys don't have that shit. And it's just facts. It's not even my feelings or that I feel I'm more talented. That's what the game is about, making great music that earns a profit. When it comes to my relationship with the new dudes, I'm just excited for them. I get to sit back in a cool position and be like, yo, I'm excited to see you do it now because I know what it's like. It's gonna be so much fun for you. And Jay even gave Drake a verse for his debut album while Cole hadn't even asked Jay for a verse yet, and he signed to him.
I know you and Jay are cool, but it still has to be a little competitive when you go in the lane your verse and him going in his lane verse, because I know you trying to eat him up, you trying to eat you up.
Yeah.
Now, when you listen to his verse, you be like, woo, he's going in, or same thing with Jeezy's verse or Wayne's verse.
Yeah, on Light Up, I lost my footing a bit. Jay came and killed me on that. That's what I think. Conversations me and Jay have, he's so intrigued by where my life is at because it's almost like he's seeing it happen again for somebody else. So he was like, I'm just gonna tell you all I've learned, you know, and it was like a beautiful moment. I really never heard Jay get that personal in a long time.
But even though Drake felt a little bit of competition between his peers of his generation like Cole, he was also looking at Wayne, Kanye, and Jay as his actual competition at that time because he was rapping alongside them.
It's a representation of yourself, and you know they're listening, man. You know, that's the thing. Once you have their ear, once they care about what you're doing, like I know if I do a new song, I know Jay's gonna hear it, I know Ye's gonna hear it, I know Wayne's gonna hear it.
So on Forever, who had the best verse?
You don't write your shit. He don't write.
Lyrical verse, I'd say.
What are we talking about?
Performance verse, I would say was mine, because when I go to the shows, I can put the mic down and they know the whole verse. And then I'd give Ye What would I give away? I don't know. I know, yeah. I don't know. Kanye had like the witty verse. I don't know. Funniest verse. No, it wasn't really funny. It was a good verse. It was a good verse.
Meanwhile, while Drake was really competing on songs with these guys, Kendrick was visualizing where he hoped to be one day. And in a similar verse to the actual sentiments of the Control verse, Kendrick dropped a verse over Kanye's Monster after being inspired by his Good Friday series, where he calls out by name the biggest rappers in the game at that time, and basically claims he can rap with the best of them.
Lord knows heavyweight, I'm the best rapper alive. I'm the best rapper alive. I'm the best rapper alive. Tell Wayne to swallow his body. I'm the best rapper alive. Jacob, this shit is the top. I'm going after Kanye. Look if he asks me or not. Snoop Dogg and Mr. Andre. And when the bust was rough, yapping I bust the off. I'm a step busting your ass. Hit you up with a metra and throw busting your ass.
It's funny hearing it because you hear that same hunger and that same competitive spirit throughout Kendrick's career on verses like Control and Like That later on. He's always been the same if you listen to this interview.
Kanye had did his Good Fridays. I liked the motherfucking song. I just stopped what I was doing. I liked it so much. I just wanted to get on that motherfucker and just spaz out on that bitch. Straight up. So it was all just in fun.
What do you think of the guys that you mentioned in that freestyle?
A lot of motherfuckers, the industry is so fucked up now. Everybody think everything is a diss. When I say that, when I say swallow the Wayne, swallow the pride, I'm coming out the J, coming out the Nas, it's about me being competitive in this motherfucker. I felt like when I stepped in this motherfucker rap game, I want to be
facts.
You know what I'm saying?
What a lie, yeah, man.
Do something that you love to do and not try to be the best at it. You know what I mean? My mom's always told me that whatever you do, if you motherfucking a bitch prostitute or a motherfucking pimp or a drug dealer, be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to half-ass do your shit because there's always somebody trying to knock you off.
Speaking of Good Fridays and wanting to compete with the greats, Cole actually appeared on Kanye's Good Friday song called Looking for Trouble, where many think that he had the best verse. In fact, Cole's competitive spirit was actually so high that he took some jabs at Kanye on the actual song. Cole felt slighted after Kanye kind of brushed off a mention of working with Cole during a live stream promoting My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and felt like Kanye's comments were a bit dismissive. But you can let me know what you think of these in the comments.
And are you gonna work with J. Cole?
As far as like working with J. Cole, I'm not positive. I'm like really focused on good music right now. But maybe we'll put him on a Good Friday track or something.
That would be nice.
Keep in mind, Kanye had already said he wanted to executive produce Drake's album, so Cole, who's on the same label as Kanye and Jay, probably felt like, yo, I'm right here. But Kanye did keep his word and got him on a Good Friday song. Kanye called him and asked him to be on his song, apparently very last minute though. He said he needed the verse 2 days later while Cole was on the road. On the song, Cole raps,
Cold world, make way for the chosen one. What you now hear is putting fear in all the older ones. They blame me, but downgrade me like they don't notice something. Your shoes too big to feel, I can barely squeeze my toes in them. With a cold flow and a loaded gun. Never say I'm better than a hoe, but I'm the closest one. Person looking for trouble, but I'm supposed to run.
This is what he had to say about the situation. I'm genuinely like, damn bro, I appreciate it, but yo, I'm on this tour, I can't. I'm in effing Michigan, and I'm not gonna be able to make it. Mind you, it was due Friday, and this is Wednesday afternoon. Ye was like, I asked such and such, and they made it happen. It was a polite flex of like, I think you can make this happen. It made me be like, alright, yeah. How can I make it happen? After driving for 2 hours, he did end up finding a studio to record it at. He said, mind you, I didn't have nobody's verse. The dude just sent me the beat. I didn't know what the F the song was. Cole even said that his vocals were slightly off beat or pushed over just a hint, and thinks that Kanye might have done that purposefully to mess with him. Whether or not it was done on purpose, this did spark a decade or more long of a little bit of tension between Cole and Kanye. CC False Prophets. I'm curious as to whether or not there was no beat under Cole's verse for that part, or if Kanye did that and took it out, because I think no matter what, that ended up showcasing Cole's hunger and his flow a lot more than if it were to have had the instrumental under it the whole time.
My badass bitch, and you don't want no problems on some mad class shit, so check the young genius out. Fuck the world, bustin' nut and let my semen sprout. I thought that real shit is what you been feeling about, what you been praying for, what you been screaming about. Ironic, you been sleeping on the one that you been dreaming about.
Kanye felt the spirit because it even forced him to switch his verse from 4 bars to a full verse that you hear today. So clearly it did strike a nerve. For many, this was the real coming out party for J. Cole, introducing him to a lot of the mainstream hip-hop world, especially fans who were tuned in for Kanye's album but might not have known who Cole was. But while Cole had the industry and blog buzz, it was clear that Drake was holding the mainstream crown this year for his generation. When asked if he feels like he's at the finish line, he said this: "I'm at the starting line. Those guys are at home putting on their tracksuits getting ready to make their attack. When J. Cole gets it super right, I think he's going to have a place as a Nas-type character who really stands for hip-hop, but still makes ill records that everybody S with." The interviewer asked, "If J. Cole is Nas, then who are you?" And Drake, apparently while laughing, said, "I'm the young big homie." But it's funny because Drake and Cole were facing battles, but they were very opposite. Drake was looked at by a lot of hip-hop as being not quote-unquote real hip-hop. He was either too soft or too vulnerable, or the singing side had too much melody and it was too R&B-ish to be considered a real rapper by a lot of hardcore hip-hop fans. And while he was accepted by his heroes, he was criticized a lot, especially coming from an acting background and being much more vulnerable in his music than a lot of mainstream rappers were at that time. And in terms of Drake's response to the hip-hop critics, here's what he said: "I think it's two things. It has a lot to do with success, and that's often why people retreat into the real hip-hop mentality," in quotes. Like, yeah, Drake, he's blowing up. That ain't real hip-hop. He's too mainstream. Nah, yo, Cole's real hip-hop. He's still doing it for the people. Sometimes I'll be like, well, really, I'm still rapping about life, which may include things like money, women. I'm not lying. It's just not like I got here and switched up my whole style. Meanwhile, Cole's struggle came from not having enough melody and not having enough hit-making capability.
You know what I'm saying? And he ended up switching his whole style. Jumping on with Future, Rick Ross, to appear more gangster. Come on, man.
In his mind, or the mind of the label at the time. He saw Jay-Z do Big Pimpin' live on tour.
So Jeremy's perspective is his perspective, but this is not my perspective whatsoever, man. So the story he's telling is his story. I do not agree with a lot of things he is saying because he got a different lens than I do. I'm going to say that.
Every night, and he thought to himself, I need one of those. And he specifically references Drake a bunch when he talks about what it meant to have a hit at that time in rap.
What do you think you're missing? What do you think that you need to improve on? What are you focusing on?
I mean, everybody can always get better in certain areas. Like, that's just going to happen naturally. But I don't feel like I'm necessarily missing anything. The only side that I had to work on for this album was how to balance staying creative and lyrical, and then also how to appeal to the mainstream. You know what I'm saying? That's the only part that really needed work, I think. And you know, that's what I've been working on, how to make these songs still be me, but to reach a wider group of people without, you know, selling out or, you know, doing something like that.
But as much as he wants a hit, Cole was very conscious about remaining close to that hip-hop mold that birthed him.
I mean, right now I'm just thinking straight to the core and trying to make the best, like, hip-hop album I can make. I don't know where I'm going to be, like, 5 years from now. You know, people switch up sometimes. I don't see it coming. I don't foresee it. But, I mean, anything's possible. I really like how Jay did his career. Like, he made consistent hip-hop albums. And Nas, like, they stayed pretty much hip-hop. I think Kanye kind of went, he's the one that kind of dabbled in pop and, you know, experiment, which was it. It was dope that he didn't even try that, because that opened the door for other artists to do the same thing. But I don't know how I foresee where I'm going with it. But right now, I'm just strictly hip-hop.
Really interestingly, though, the interviewer in that Drake interview asked him this. He said, of all your contemporaries, it seems like you want to be famous the most. Drake said that's going to change. When Cole's sound is the new sound that everybody wants to hear, he's going to be like, I want to be as big as possible with this. I didn't jeopardize anything to be in the position I'm in. You're listening to the that I believe in, not some I did because I needed to get here. People just happen to embrace my That's very rare. But I also think the younger generation appreciates that brand of music, so I think it's possible for one of these guys to emerge and do exactly what I'm doing. And Drake said that at a time where he actually admitted he was struggling with how to relate to the average person while being a multi-millionaire rapper. And interestingly enough, Kendrick had this to say about that specific topic, which makes me think that Kendrick was studying his contemporaries and maybe even read that Drake interview at the time.
Music. What does that mean? Shit, when you wake up in the morning, you got something on your mind and you go in the studio and lay that shit down. Shit that everybody can relate to. No matter if I got a fucking $1 million, I'm still gonna talk about some shit like I'm broke. You know what I mean? Because I remember being back in that state of mind. And that's why I feel music needs to go back to. You know what I mean? Shit's been so restricted because motherfuckers always talking about ice and glamour and shit all the time.
Facts.
Cool. I like talking about that
Facts.
shit too. Hopefully one day I have some, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, everybody's not rich. Everybody can't ball out like that. Nobody want to hear that shit all the time.
Fuck your money, fuck your fame. You still a shit ass person, Drake. It is what it is.
You got motherfuckers out here that's struggling on welfare every motherfucking month trying to make ends meet. Section 8.
In today's society, in today's administration, who you gonna relate to? Old boy or K-Dot? Let's go, man.
That's how we grew up anyway. And that's the shit I want to talk about.
But even if they weren't best friends at this time, Cole and Drake did have a relationship because there was a lot that they could relate to on the journey. In April, Drake is on the road for his first solo tour away from home as he continues to promote his upcoming album. He wins Best Male Hip Hop Artist at the BET Awards, and it's clear people are anticipating something special from his debut album. And on June 15th, Drake releases his debut album to the world, Thank Me Later, and it had massive commercial success. He explains the concept of the album to Sway and how he thought about it sonically.
This album, I wanted it to be consistent with that sound because I felt like So Far Gone, the story and the sound, it was like a teaser, a story that I wanted to tell. And I feel like it ended off on a note that just needed to be continued, you know? I didn't want to just make this first album and completely forget about everything I had just rapped and start from a whole new perspective. I really wanted to continue the story, and that's why I continue with 3 songs that almost could have been on So Far Gone, which is like Fireworks, Karaoke, and The Resistance. Then life changes. And
something you didn't write.
Things change, and you go into Over. And then you start hearing like "Show Me a Good Time."
You ain't write none of that shit.
Bigger and sonically, you're like, "Oh, Kanye and Swizz Beatz." You're like, "Oh, what's happening? What's happening?" And then there's still little So Far Gone moments on there, like at the end of Fancy, the beat switches, and you still hear me get my. And then Light Up, was a real hip hop moment. And then I end with a song called "Thank Me Now." Even though it's happy, it's still me rapping. I'm still letting you know the story shall continue.
It debuted at #1 and sold 447,000 copies first week, which was insane at that time. To give you a reference, Kid Cudi sold about 100,000 the year prior, and Wale's Attention Deficit had sold 28,000 the year prior after what seemed like a mess up on the rollout from the label. I only give that comparison to show you how much bigger Drake was than all of his contemporaries in terms of mainstream success at this time. And that number put the pressure on for Cole to sell something even remotely close with his debut album. Ironically, this is the same day that J. Cole released his warm-up mixtape a year prior, June 15th, 2009. So to honor the mixtape's anniversary, Cole dropped a freestyle called The Last Stretch, the same day that Drake's album dropped. Let me know if you think any of these dates were purposeful or not.
I let you sleep today, but it's on tomorrow. Yeah, I said it's on tomorrow.
Hey, Jeremy giving Drake way too much credit, man. Way too much credit in this video right here, man.
Coming for the game and I ain't talking on a borrow. Pray for the days I can cash checks and never weary. This the last stretch on my half step from legendary.
On September 10th, 2010, Kendrick drops his overly dedicated project, which put him into the conversation as one of the next up in his generation, and someone definitely to keep an eye on, especially The Heart Part 2. I remember hearing that for the first time and thinking, this guy is one of the hungriest rappers I've ever heard, especially at the end when he can barely keep his breath because he's rapping so hard.
Suicide books behind the life while we live. And look the mastermind, took the mastermind, just the perfect time, just the mastermind, just the master ground with precision. Look the mastermind, took the...
We would like to call this an appreciation tape.
But yeah, crazy moment. In July, Cole said his release date was October 26th, but it got pushed back again, of course. And Cole was tired of waiting around for the label to give him a release date, so he took matters into his own hands. He said he was worried that his fan base was gonna think of him as being stagnant if he didn't drop something else. He released Villmatic on September 5th, 2010 to online praise and began hyping up a new project. Drake even played it at a guest DJ set in Toronto when him and Cole were hanging out together.
It's the feeling in the air, you about to drop a real classic.
Of course, he did it over a Kanye instrumental, which again, I think is purposeful. The project contained a lot of songs that were initially supposed to be on his debut album, so he lost a little bit of what he had in the stash. On November 12th, 2010, J. Cole drops his game-changing project, Friday Night Lights. In my opinion, an undeniable classic mixtape that would certify Cole as a special artist, and the mixtape took him to new heights of fame and success and really helped build that core fan base. He sold out the rest of his tour just off the strength of that mixtape's reception. Drake turned in his verse with just a couple days left for In the Morning, and apparently he had lost his voice on tour, so he sent it in with a little bit of a raspy flow. Cole even added a third verse on the song after he heard Drake kill it, but overall, I think it's an amazing collaboration. I remember clicking play on Too Late to the intro. What a moment. Let me know where you guys were when you first heard it. And in December of 2010, J. Cole sold out the Highline Ballroom in New York, which is a milestone performance, and he brought out Drake to perform In the Morning to a crazy reaction. At the end of the year, Cole listed both Kendrick and Drake's projects as two of his 3 favorites of the year, alongside Kanye's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. No matter what, you can't deny the greatness of that project. To me, it might be my favorite all-time hip-hop album, but you can let me know where it ranks for you guys below. In terms of Kendrick's favorite albums of the year, he didn't have either of them on his list. Here's who he had.
Top albums of the year, Rick Ross, Kid Cudi.
But it's also possible that this interview could have been recorded before Cole dropped his mixtape. And on the last day of 2010, Kendrick announced that maybe there's even a collab project between him and J. Cole coming in the future. He even previewed something on Hard Knock TV. Shout out to my guy Nick. Classic interviews.
We've been, at least one picture I know has been floating around the internet. What's going on with that? What's the latest for you and J. Cole?
Shit, we just got up and locked in the studio for a day and came out with a few bangers, and it was so motherfucking crazy. We felt like we should continue making these motherfucking records and see what they turn into at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Who knows? I mean, it might be a full project. It might be just some good-ass songs thrown out. But nevertheless, it's good music. There's some shit me and J. Cole working on right here.
As for Drake, he went on a dominant feature run to maintain his buzz through the end of the year, hopping on the Deuces remix, Moment for Life, right above it, What's My Name with Rihanna, Fall for Yours.
Did you hear what he just said? Hopping on remixes. On other people's songs. On other people's songs. So, I'm taking what it is as Jeremy Heck. This is his project, but he's giving old boy way too much credit. Way too much credit, man. But I'm in it right here, man. Go check out Jeremy Heck channel, man. Go subscribe to that brother. Like, comment, subscribe, hype. But yeah, man. This was the beginning stages. I guess the beef, and you see who won the battle, and the bigger picture with K-Dot. Initially, old boy started out hot, but old boy had riders in the beginning. But hey, what do I know? Like, comment, subscribe. Welcome to the Session Hype. I'm out of here, man. Shout out to Jeremy Heck. Go check out his channel. Go check out that brother channel.